Good evening. This is Dr. Paget. And again, I hope that everyone is doing well. We're coming to the end of the semester. It's been quite an ordeal for all of us, but it's almost over. Only one more week. And so let's just get right to the assignment. And so I'm going to share the screen. And so here is where we are. Today is Saturday, April 25th. And as you can see, the historical and future climate change assignment is due at 11:30 p.m. I thought I'd make things a little light this week so that the only thing you'd have to do is watch that one video and write an essay, while hopefully at the same time continuing to work on your term papers. So hopefully this week you did take a look at some of my comments on the term papers. Again, you can submit a draft at any time. If you want me to look at it before you turn it in at 5 o'clock p.m. next Friday, feel free to let me see a draft ahead of time. Please do so before before the deadline, in enough time that I can at least give you some feedback. Okay, so of course also due next Friday is the final exam project, which is available on the eLearn page today. There are two assignments. One assignment is for Valerie and Keith Thomas. They are doing a globe-based assignment because they were in the class under or with the support of the University Center for Atmospheric Research, as they were looking at various applications of the globe weather curriculum, as it's going to be reflected in their assignment. The rest of you all will do the urban heat islands effect mapping and essay assignment. So I'll start with the urban heat islands assignment and I'll get to the other one. The urban heat islands assignment comes with, as you can see, a set of reading materials. And so you should refer to these reading materials as you go through the project, specifically the end where you're going to have to write an essay. So the assignment is, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is kind of complex, so it's best that you start early. And so ordinarily we would have gone outside to collect this data. So that's the downside of this assignment, is that we didn't actually get out and collect the data ourselves. But we do have data from last year that we can use. And really what I want you to understand is not technology per se, but what's the atmospheric science? What's the nature of the atmospheric science associated with the urban heat islands effect? So again, this is an individual assignment. This is not a group assignment. Okay, so each one of you will turn in your own work. This is not a group assignment. This is right there on the assignment itself. So the first thing you're going to have to do, if you haven't already, is to create a Arcgis online public account, and there are the instructions for doing so right there. If you already have one, fine. If you don't have one, you have to create your own. You can't use the same one that was used for the previous assignment. After you get your Arcgis online account set up, next is data. So as you can see, ordinarily we would have gone outside and collected data ourselves, but I do have data from last year. So what you're going to have to do is, and I'm sorry that this is sideways, you can always either print this out or you can actually rotate it in Adobe. But you have several sheets of data here. And so you should just select the data from one group each. Okay, so what I do not want to see is all three of you get data for the same group. As a matter of fact, I'm going to probably change that on the document. So you get the data for one group each. Notice that there are several students in each group. So if you can't read one student's handwriting, go to the next student's handwriting. The groups are identified right on the data form. So again, you can do that for each separate group. After you get the data, you will then enter the data into this spreadsheet per the instructions right here. Again, if I were you, I would submit my draft spreadsheet before moving on. There's a lot of opportunity for errors in this spreadsheet. This is probably the first or second time you've ever done this. So just to be sure, you might want to submit your spreadsheet ahead of time. Then you just go through the steps of converting that spreadsheet into CSV format, and then pulling it into ArcGIS Online per the instructions right here. And you're going to have to manipulate the symbols in ArcGIS Online in order to get this final map. So what the final map will look like, as you can see, is you'll have maps. You'll have two layers. One layer will be the ambient temperature. Another layer will be the surface temperature. So the way we got the surface temperature was using an infrared thermometer. And so what we're trying to see here is, how much does the surface cover, or how much does the land cover affect the temperature, and how does that compare to the ambient temperature? So let's say on this particular day, it was about 75 degrees Fahrenheit outside. We collected data last year, but as you can see, in some cases, the surface temperature was significantly higher than the ambient temperature. And as you can see here, in this case, the ambient temperature is higher than the surface temperature. Why is that? What's causing that, right? Those are the questions that you should answer after, of course, reading through the materials posted along with the assignment. You're going to have to play with this. If you have any problems with the technology, email me. Or you're going to have to tweak this. You're going to have to play with the transparency of the symbols. It's probably going to trip you up a little bit. That's why you should start on this early. And of course, save your map. Make sure your map is public. You can paste the link to your map here, and also you can paste the link to your map in the comments box in the Dropbox, or the comment area of the Dropbox. The last piece is for you to write a detailed 700 or more word essay on the following. What atmospheric principles are inherent to understanding the urban heat island effect? You may include maps and graphics. How do the results of this assignment bolster your understanding of the atmospheric science principles associated with the urban heat island effect? For example, the Earth's atmospheric energy balance, land cover albedo, ultraviolet and thermal energy wavelengths, greenhouse gases, etc. All of those key terms are referenced in the reading materials, so you should be able to write thoughtfully on that. And then finally, what are the environmental justice and climate justice issues inherent in the urban heat island effect, including racial health disparities? And so there are some parts of the reading assignment, and of course the film that you watched with Dr. Washington in the past week. So just feel free to look beyond what we have posted there for that particular question. Also, don't forget to upload this sheet and your Excel and CSV data sheets to the Dropbox also. I want to see your data just in case there are some issues on your map. I want to be able to point out where you possibly went wrong so you can correct the map. Because remember, this map is going to be online and you can use it as an example of your GIS experience if you happen to apply for an internship or who knows what in the future. You can actually show a prospective employer or someone who might be asking you to work on a project that you actually have some hands-on GIS experience with raw data. Okay, so that is the assignment for those of you other than Thomas and Ballard. So let me get to Thomas and Ballard's project. Okay, so their project is in 4 parts. And so the first part is just to get a better, just to demonstrate your understanding of GLOBE, the GLOBE program, and get a better understanding or to express your understanding of the GLOBE weather curriculum. Here are the links for both. First, you have to create a pre-service teacher account. That's very important. Log into the GLOBE website, explore the GLOBE website, and then write a detailed 700 or more word essay based upon the following. What are the various parameters? What are the major objectives of the GLOBE program? What are the major sponsoring agencies? What are these elements of the GLOBE atmosphere protocols? Describe them. Give me a detailed summary of the GLOBE weather curriculum, what are its objectives, what grade levels is it aimed towards, what are some of the things that students are, what are some of the things that students should learn, what are the learning objectives associated with the GLOBE weather curriculum, and so on and so forth. And then you must include graphics in your essay, some pictures, some diagrams. It can't just be all text. Then you would upload this essay and the screen capture of your account confirmation page to Dropbox. That's part 1. Again, there are 4 parts. That's the first part. The second part of the GLOBE exam, I click through these. Let's say part 2 is, close this out. Okay, so part 2 is here. So this is the e-training portion, which will enable you to get GLOBE certification in the atmosphere protocols. And so you just simply go through these steps, log into the GLOBE website, and just follow the instructions. Now, what you'll be doing is you'll be completing a series of learning modules. Download the modules, get some basic understanding, then take the assessment test. When you finish the assessment test, in this case, it's just an introduction to GLOBE assessment test, you'll get a certificate of award of completion, get a screen capture of that certificate and paste it right here or insert it right here into the Word document. Then move on to the next module. This is the atmosphere module. Then after you complete the the atmosphere module. Um, then you will move on to the next module, and then you will continue with these modules until you are done. Every time you finish a module, you get a completion certificate, just paste it right here into the document, and you upload this entire document to the Dropbox. Again, prior to the deadline. Then move on to part 3. Now, part 3 is another very important part of Globe. It's the data entry section. And so if you become a Globe teacher, whether it's formal or informal setting, then you will have access to the Globe data visualization platform. And so this is where your students' data will be shown literally to the world on the Globe data visualization platform. Again, unfortunately, we're not able to go outside and collect data, but there is an option to use weather station data in Globe. Tennessee State University has a weather station. I've created a data collection site using that weather station. So you go here, click on the weather station page, open it up, get whatever the temperature is that you see there, the date and the time, convert the temperature from Fahrenheit to Celsius using this formula, and then scroll down the page, you'll see additional conditions, and then you'll enter the precipitation value that you see there in inches, and then you will, the date and the time, and then you'll convert those inches to millimeters using this formula here. Then you'll log in to your Globe account once again. And then when you log in, you should see the Tennessee State University organization, and that's the one that should pop up. If it doesn't, contact me immediately and we'll try to figure this out, okay? But once you get into the site, you'll notice here's the Tennessee State University weather station. Expand that out like so. You have 2 points of entry. The first, you'll enter the air temperature data that you collected from the weather station. And then here's the screen. Now, after you successfully enter the data, you'll get a screenshot saying that your air temperature data has been successfully entered. Paste that screen cap of your successful entry certificate there. And then do the same thing for precipitation. Enter the data for 1 day accumulation, rainfall, make sure it's measurable and in millimeters. And of course, you'll have to convert that and then send the data, and then paste your successful precipitation data entry there. Now, ordinarily, I would have you look at go into the Globe data visualization system in order to see the data that you posted, but it probably won't post right away. There might be a delay sometimes, so we're not going to do that. This last part is very important. Make sure you enter your name, full name, and your non-TSU email address. So once you become certified as a Globe teacher, you will be a Globe teacher for life. And so you will presumably stay in contact with me, your Globe trainer, and you will also at some point no longer have access to Tennessee State University's email. So I need an email address that I can stay in touch with you, over time. Then upload this form to the designated Dropbox prior to the deadline. And then last but certainly not least is part 4. And so part 4 allows us to get some experience in the part that we missed since we couldn't go outside on campus, but you can go outside no matter where you happen to be. Nothing wrong with that. Even under this quarantine, we can at least still go outside. So first thing you should do before going outside is add the Globe Observer app to your mobile device. Review the instructions for conducting cloud observations on the Globe Observer. I also have attached a copy of the Globe Cloud Protocol to this assignment. You might want to kind of test it out first before you on your official run, because chances are you're going to make a couple of mistakes. It's not something that's intuitive, but you'll get the hang of it after a little while. Then when you're ready, go outside, get a clear view of the sky. So the first run that we're going to do, or the first observation that we're going to make, is using the globe cloud chart. You can click here to get the globe cloud chart. There's another globe cloud chart along with the assignment. You're going to have to either print that out or find a way to look at it one way or the other. And then as you go outside and make your observations, you have a atmosphere investigations 1-day data sheet. Just go through, fill out that sheet. Again, if you have any questions, email me as soon as you have questions. You know, this is, plan on being outside for about an hour or so. So after you complete the cloud chart, you should take a clear picture of it and then save it, and you will upload that to the Dropbox along with these other data. Now, on the same day and at the same time that you do the regular cloud chart observation, you should also do an observation with the app. So again, just go through the process of making observation with the app. You're going to have to take some pictures. You're going to have to do some things with your phone. Just take your time, be patient, you'll figure it out. Now, what is going to happen is after you send your data, maybe within 24 to 48 hours, you're going to get a NASA Cloud Observation and Satellite Match email that will include this, the NASA Cloud Observation and Satellite Match. And so what you get is a comparison between what you observed in the sky and what the NASA satellite observed. Okay, so as you can see with this observation, the individual that was making the observation saw cirrocumulus clouds, saw altocumulus clouds, saw stratus clouds. Not a whole lot of clouds, as you can see, less than 10% cloud cover, but clouds were clearly visible to this human being on the ground. Notice the satellite saw nothing. So this hammers home the importance of having human observations on the ground, because the satellites can't see everything. And again, the data that we use, that we collect, the data that your students collect, will be used by NASA and NOAA and other scientists as they do these very large-scale climate change and large-scale soil moisture studies. And so it really, what GLOBE does is it really brings students, even as young as kindergarten, in the full realm of science as fully engaged participants whose data is actually important and is used towards these endeavors. So after you've done that, then you're just going to answer a few questions. First question is, look at your observations, look at the satellite observations. What did you see? Were they the same? Were they different? Why might you think they were different? In this case, the cloud cover was light, less than 10% cloud cover, which might explain why the satellite didn't see anything. Did you notice any other interesting weather atmospheric observations while you were conducting cloud protocol observations? What was the wind like? Was it humid? Was there something else going on while you were out there? You know, it looked like it was going to rain. What was the soil moisture like? Things like that, you know, that you might perhaps associate with the clouds. Maybe you know for a fact that it was a high pressure day, or maybe you know for a fact that a cold front was coming through. how might that have affected what kind of clouds you saw? Those are the kinds of answers I'm looking for at 7. And then, of course, how can the global weather curriculum be incorporated into this lesson? You know, if you were going to, so going to the global weather curriculum, look at how maybe we could include some portion of that as an offshoot with this as we make these observations. So that's going to ask you to be a little bit creative. Of course, upload this whole thing to the Dropbox prior to the deadline again. So I'm going to stop my share and just get into a few more announcements. So again, this is not due until 11:30 p.m. on Friday, next Friday. So you have plenty of time to get this done. You might do 1 part per day of the 4-part project. And so again, if you have any questions, let me know. I will be grading the assignments. You all are juniors and seniors, and so I spent a lot more time getting caught up on grading with the lower division classes, but you all have been around a little longer. You pretty much know where you stand. I'm going to grade the midterm exams and get those graded. You know, sorry I kind of fell behind, but you know, there's a lot of disruption in going from live to virtual format, and so that's just the nature of things. But grades will be released on May the 8th, so that's when you'll get your final grades. If you have any questions in the meantime, let me know. Oh yeah, well I'm teaching urban geography during Maymester, geography 4850. It's online. I'd much rather have that class be live, but it is what it is. So you might want to consider taking my Maymester class. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. As always, think, work, serve.